Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Women and Girls Voice Advocacy Initiative. My name is Haminat. Um, Today it's Monday, and I feel I should share some nuggets with us. So today we'll be talking about how to overcome self-doubt as a woman. I mentioned woman because there's been so many research around who have more problems with self-doubt, self-esteem between men and women. And it was found out that women have so much self-esteem issues, which self-doubt is part of them. And I think that's just because of the expectations, so many expectations that the society expects from women. So, but let's even talk about what self doubt is and why you should pay attention to how you can overcome it. If you are somebody that is always thinking about doing something and you are always asking yourself questions around if that thing is a bad idea, if you are even capable of doing it, or if you are always seeking validation, it's okay to seek validation actually, but if it has become part of you, or if you finish doing something and you are always second guessing yourself, you're always asking, have I made the right choice or have I made the wrong choice? Should I have asked this person before doing it? And things like that. While I'm saying that it's okay to seek opinion, it's okay to ask people for things, it's okay to seek validation. What is not okay is when that thing now becomes part of your identity, when it has now become something that you can't do without, when you can't make any decision yourself without asking someone or without somebody else signing it that you have to go ahead to do it. Even decisions that relate to something that has to do with your own personal life, you can't do stuff yourself just because you are always doubting yourself. You don't believe that you can make the right decision for yourself. So that is where self-doubt comes in. But then you can't allow yourself to be that person. You can't keep seeking validation all the time. You can't allow it to take over your life entirely if you're always depending on people to validate your thoughts. And that's because at some point the people that you are depending on might not be available. And even if they are available, they can give you advice that eventually you realize that you should have followed your own heart, which is why you need to have a mind of yourself. You need to be able to make decisions that relate to a part of your life, especially. You need to be able to do stuff on your own, even if you need to take input from other people. You need to be able to decide. If you take advice from here, take from here. You need to be able to sit yourself down and say, analyzing these advices, I think I'll go with this best option instead of always asking for people to decide for you. So how do you go about this? How do you overcome this self-doubt that has now become part of you, part of your identity? Number one is to do that thing anyway, is to be afraid and still do it. Now that's a kind of tricky. Yeah, it's tricky because how can you say I'm afraid of something and still do it anyway? Well, sometimes when we are afraid of something, we tend to go move back from that thing. We run away from it because we feel like if we do it, we already anticipate a kind of regret. We already imagine a kind of something that could go wrong even before we even start doing that thing. So instead of you getting scared of what could go wrong and then eventually not going for what you had wanted to go for, do it anyway. Do it. You can't really totally say something is regretful unless you've checked that thing or you've weighed your options between cost and benefit and you've realized that it's total regret. It shouldn't just be your imagination, or probably somebody else has done it and in some way you think the experience of that person didn't go well and you feel that you shouldn't do the same thing because it might not go well. That means of course you have a basis for your fear and you can use that to step back. But just an imagination of if I do this thing, can I even do it? Do I have the capability to do it? As I am now with my age now, can I still write WAEC? Can I still go back to university? Will I still be able to learn? Can I still learn a skill with this my age? Can I still learn digital marketing? So all those kind of things, they are just fears. They are fears that creeps in and try to hold you back and try to get you stuck in your comfort zone, because it feels like you are going to be challenging yourself and you are afraid of doing that. Meanwhile, if you eventually face your fears, if you eventually go for what you wanted to do, there's a way it boosts your self-esteem. There's a way you look at yourself and feel more confident. That is what you do when you face your fears. Your self-esteem will be improved. At a point in time, you will trust yourself to believe that you can survive anything, because have eventually done that thing that you've eventually go ahead to do that thing that you've always wanted to do, that thing that has always been scary to you. So there's a kind of way you will trust yourself that no matter what life is throwing at you, you can survive it. Another thing, it will help. Another way you can help yourself when you face your fear is in terms of building resilience. Because by the time you face your fear in this aspect, you are gradually building your resilience, such that no matter what is coming, no matter the stress, no matter the challenges, you will face it, because you always have it at the back of your mind that, oh, this is nothing compared to what I've faced in the past. But if you don't try, if you don't push yourself, if you don't face it and feel like, let's even see what's come out of it, you will remain the same. And it's not just about remaining the same. You will be feeling regretful because there's something you wanted to do, but fear is holding you back. And guess what? Every one of us, every individual in this life, I don't think there's anybody that is 100% sure of what they want to do. But everyone just take life as a risk. They just feel like, okay, let me just try it. Let me just try it. There's no one that can say I'm 100% sure of this thing that I want to do, that this is what I'm going to get at the end of it. Everybody just take that risk. They just try their best to see how it goes. So that is one of the ways to overcome self-doubt. Do it anyway. Do it. Go for it. And it will help you as you move on with life. The second way that you can overcome self-doubt is to let it out. Like let your fears, or however you are feeling, let it out. How do you let it out? Sometimes you can write it out. Like you can get a paper, write what you want to do, write why you think you don't want to do it, write the worst case scenario, like what could happen if I eventually do it, what is the best thing that can happen, what is the worst thing that can happen. Then you start weighing the options. So writing is one of the ways that you let it out, because it could just be anxiety of what will happen if I do this thing. But at the end of the day, maybe you realize that letting it out, and then you see that I just thought about it, like, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's this complicated like I've envisaged. So let it out by writing. You can also let it out by talking to someone. You can talk to someone that have done it before. You can talk to a mentor. You can talk to a counselor. You can talk to anybody that you think will be in a good position to advise you. You can share your feelings, your fears with whoever you think would be capable to understand you. That way, once it leaves your heart, once you share your feelings on that thing that you wanted to do, there's a kind of relief you might feel, depending on who you're talking to. There's a kind of relief that you might feel, and you just feel like, I think I want to go for it. I think I want to go for it. So let it out, speak to someone. Also, sometimes exercise really help. Sometimes you get so overwhelmed, you know what you want to do. You have so many things you want to do. You've written it down, you've talked to someone, but it still feels overwhelming. Sometimes you just take a walk. Like take a walk around your house. If it is something that you think you can take a walk, you can even do some light exercise inside your house, just to lighten your head, just to lighten your heart, just to feel like just to feel free, just to take your mind at least that moment away from the issue that's been affecting you. So exercise is one of the ways to bring yourself back, is one of the ways to unburden when you feel overwhelmed. And if you don't want to do exercise, depending on how you unburden, maybe you can just go to a spa, maybe you can have you can hang out with friends and things like that, depending on how you unburden. But at that point when you feel like you want to take some decision and you can't stop doubting yourself, you need something to lighten your head. You need something that can take over at that period. The third way that you can overcome self-doubt is not to do it alone. Not to do it alone. Don't do it alone. Sometimes you have so many things to do, you start second guessing yourself, and at the end of the day you realize that when you collaborate with some people, when you collaborate with other people, it becomes a good idea. It becomes something that will take some burden away from you. Let's say, for example, you want to buy some items from abroad. Let's say, for example, you want to ship some items and you start thinking about how to manage the logistics, how to manage the exchange rate, how to manage a lot of things. Probably you remember a friend of yours that has always also been talking about things like that. You guys can come together. By that, one person can handle the aspect of payments or financials, the other person can handle searching for items or logistics. So collaboration sometimes could help you to stop doubting yourself, and that way it's not really about validation, it's about you also bringing your idea at the same time getting the ideas from another person. So doing it alone doing it with somebody else can actually help you to overcome self-doubt. And it does not mean that you're weak, it does not mean that you are not capable, it just means that you need a helping hand. And another way you don't want to do it alone is to surround yourself with positive people, positive groups. Surround yourself with people that want to grow, people that are already growing, people that are already making progress, people that are happy to share their success, people that are happy to tell you about their lessons, their challenges on the way. Surround yourself with people like that, and that way you can learn from that community. You can understand that yes, it doesn't mean that everything is going to be so smooth from the beginning, or it doesn't mean that you're not going to encounter any challenge, but it does mean that no matter what you encounter on the road, no matter what life brings along the road at the middle of that endeavor, you will overcome it just like every other person. So if you are thinking of starting something, one of the ways you want to surround yourself with people is to search for groups that are doing similar things and join them to see how they are faring in respect to that. Number 4 is to be kind to yourself. You need to really be kind to yourself, because sometimes we realize that the same advice we are giving other person, we are not giving that advice to ourselves. Someone will come to us with their problems, they will share their problems with us, and at the end of the day we advise them in a compassionate way. We tell them to take life easy on themselves, we tell them to take it one step at a time. But when it comes to us, we start beating ourselves, we start criticizing ourselves. So one of the ways to overcome self-doubt is to be kind to yourself. Yes, you might have done a lot of things in the past. You might have made some mistakes. You might have taken some steps that appears to be wrong in the past. But that does not mean that you are not going to do another thing. It doesn't mean that you are not going to take another step. Learning from your mistakes and moving forward is what we are talking about, but not letting your mistake keep you stuck and saying, oh, because I've done these things before, I didn't really make anything out of it, or I make the wrong decision before, does not mean that you have to stand still and not take any further step. So you need to be kind to yourself. You need to understand that the mistake you made should serve as a lesson, as an experience for you, and not to repeat itself. Everybody in this life at one point or the other have made the kind of mistake, something that they sit down and wish they had not done. So you are not alone. You are not different from them. But the difference between you and them this time around would now be if you decide to be dwelling on your mistakes, to stay stuck, to start blaming yourself, start thinking, oh, that is the end of life, and not moving ahead just like the other people. So learn from your mistakes and stop beating yourself all the time. Stop regretting when you are supposed to move on. And also you can use affirmations. Affirmations are one of the ways to remind yourself that nothing is going to hold you back. For example, you are in between something and you feel stuck, or the challenge pops up. You can tell yourself you've got this. You can tell yourself you just need to take some time to figure it out. You can tell yourself, okay, you just need to call somebody and talk about it. So affirmations are ways to remind you that not something, whatever, is not going to hold you back. So always tell yourself, especially if you're someone that is always having challenges when you're starting something or before you start, that you've got this. Nothing is going to hold me back. I've got this. I've got this. And you've got it does not mean you have. It doesn't mean you have the solution, the immediate solution. But it means that even though you are in between the challenges, you are going to figure it out, either by talking to someone or either by taking your time to figure it out. But at least you are not letting that solution discourage you. You are not letting it to change your mood. You are not letting you to feel regretful that you've taken that decision that you've taken. The last one is to be mindful of how you criticize yourself every time. Like always feeling like, oh, you're a failure. Oh, you can never get this. Oh, you're always fumbling. That is criticism. Criticism that you wouldn't want to say to other people. So why are you saying it to yourself? Why are you always criticizing yourself when you can't do that to another person? You are human too. So it's okay to blame yourself for things, especially if you think you are at fault. It's okay, but what is not okay is to be doing that all the time, criticizing yourself, feeling as if your being is a mistake, feeling as if you're meant for failure, you're always doing mistakes, your life, everything you've always endeavored, they are just full of wrongs. You shouldn't do that. If you look back, there are things that you've done that are perfectly okay. And the last one, I don't know if this is the last one, but let me say the second to the last one is to always remember your achievements. I'm going to cite an example here. When I was trying to do my driving test, my practical driving test, I remembered a very close friend of mine called me that morning and told me something that actually gave me the confidence to go for it. Yes, I had that fear in me. I had that fear of me going again and failing the test because I had failed initially. But that person said something, and that was what gave me all the go ahead. That was what I needed at that point. She said, remember all the things that you have done before you reach this stage that you are. And then she's someone that didn't really know me right from the beginning, but for the little time that she knew me, she started mentioning, oh, you did this, you did that, and she started mentioning a couple of the things that I've done in the past, a couple of successes that I've been able to achieve. And you know what, that was just what I needed at that point. And that gave me a renewed hope. I started thinking through that, yeah, I did all these things really. I was made for success. I am made for success. And I am going to face this one this time around, and I'm going to be successful. So sometimes, if you focus on only the negative things, only the things that are not going well with you in life, if you focus on only the time that you failed, if you focus on only the things that you've never been good at, you will doubt yourself on that thing you want to do. But if you remember that no matter what you have done in the past, no matter how people have described you, no matter the challenges in your life, there are things that you've done successfully. You have some wins as well. If you remember all those things, let's say you are in the you just finished university, for example, and you've tried everything within your power to secure a job, and you start second guessing yourself, you start doubting yourself, you start wondering what you've done wrong that is not making you get a job or do anything better. But you forgot that the same you went through primary school, went to secondary school, the same you was once a prefect in your secondary school, the same you had once participated in one sporting activity and came out first or second. You've forgotten all those little achievements that you've been managed to do, just because you are focusing on your current failure. You're focusing on the things that are not going smoothly. So you would want to do that. You want to remember all the things you have achieved and use that to encourage yourself. Use that to build a new hope that you can be successful at this new endeavor too. That way you'll stop doubting yourself. And again, the last one, which this is the last one, is to focus on yourself. I love to say this all the time, because social media, for example, is now an avenue where people see other people's lives, where they see their achievements, where they see the things they are doing day to day, and they start thinking about if they will ever measure up to the standard. The more you focus on the things that other people are doing, the more you second guess yourself, the more you doubt yourself. The more you look at somebody's life and you use it to determine your own capability, the more you feel sad about it. So let your focus be on yourself. Always remember that you have a different and unique journey compared to the other person, to that person that you are seeing around on the social media. How many people are posting their failures? How many people are posting their challenges every day? How many people are saying all the things that they have encountered before they now post their success on the internet? How many people? So if you are always focusing on them, you would get stuck. You will feel like you can never get to their level. You will feel like you can never be up to the standard. So let the focus always be on you. Always remember that you have a different journey, and that point that you are, as long as you are not sitting down at your comfort zone, as long as you don't think, oh, this is the only thing life has got to offer me, I think I'm just comfortable here, as long as you're still thriving, you're still making efforts, no matter how small steps that you're taking, even if it is baby step, even if it is snail step, as long as you are moving, that is your own journey, and that should be where you should focus. It's okay to aim high, it's okay to want to run, but if your situation requires that you only need to crawl at this point, I think you should focus on that and celebrate yourself for at least taking that step of crawling. Okay, thank you very much. If you've enjoyed this video today, please don't forget to follow this page, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share this video across your network. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.